I'll get started as I'm getting the slides. This will be a bit of a fun thing before Christine comes up here. Just wanting to talk about, in my talk, I'll be talking a bit about two of the top tools that I think really help with people who report transfusion reactions to TTISS Ontario. We have developed a lot of tools, and I have a lot of people going like, where do we report to? How do we know? And with having 159 hospitals in Ontario, we have a lot of changes in staff, and it's always hard to keep the training up. So I'm going to ask you if some of you use these tools, and if not, introduce you to some of them. So are these my notes here? Okay. So I think I've go to the first one, the one after this. I think I've said the first part, but basically, where does TTIS stand with reporting with the rest of the Canadian hemovigilance system? And there's two reporting systems in Canada under the Government of Canada. One's to Health Canada through Canadian Blood Services or directly, and one's with TTISS. And they're two parallel systems. People often think like, what do I have to do to Canadian Blood Services, and what do I have to do to TTISS? And basically, under Health Canada, it's not coming up. Under Health Canada, the Canadian Vigilance Program, which is mandatory, they're concerned with the safety of the blood. If your investigation that you suspect has something to do with quality, it goes there. And if it doesn't, it goes to us. So for example, a taco or an acute hemolytic due to an error would just go to us if it wasn't a very serious event. And in others, it goes right there. Okay. There you go. That's not my presentation.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But okay, this one looks good too.
No. Here's my mouse.
And I'll just show you some of our tools, and show you the tools once they come up. Once I get my slides. That's good. That's the one. Right here. Okay.
You can see, but
all right, that's fine. And we can go, okay. So you've seen the two ones. Go to the next slide here. And I just press here.
Yeah.
I can go. This just gives you an idea of how our quality of data is important in Ontario, because we contribute with transfusion activity 50%, excluding Hemo-Quebec in Canada, and overall with Hemo-Quebec, 39% of all transfusion reactions that happen. So it's important that what we do in Ontario is carefully checked, done, and we do a quality system. You can see these are all our centers, all the 159 hospitals in Ontario, and we have 100% participation. This is an idea of how many transfusion reactions happen during the last 10 years. And you can see 80% of them, over 7,000, are minor reactions. These are your febrile non-hemolytic, your minor allergic, and your delayed serological. And the rest, like 3,000, close to 3,000, were severe reactions, all of the others. And you can see taco and minor allergic. This just gives you an idea. We're taking this data, and in this January coming will be a 10-year report. And we want to do something very comprehensive with our education committee to make sure we try to interpret or some of the data, not just put it out like a frequency thing. These are some of our online tools. We collect it. We have data entry. We do annual meetings, education committee, interactive things. And I'm just going to concentrate on the online reporting and the online reporting guides we have, because I'm very, very passionate about this, and I try to keep them up as laws, Vanessa's law, things change. It can get confusing. And in a day, it can change. Some other reactions come up, and like, what do we do with this? So I just wanted your feedback. There's a tool we used here where when you enter the data into REDCap, it says print CTRF in the corner. You can press that, and all the data that you entered into REDCap goes into a PDF that you can print to easily do a one-step shopping and send to other agencies, CVS or the plasma blood product manufacturers or Health Canada directly as an initial submission. So my question to you is this: how many of you actually use this form to report? If you, or how many of you use other forms instead? How many of you didn't know about the form but would use it now that you know about it? And how many wouldn't use it at all? And then there's one, either don't respond or I'm not responsible for reporting. So, oh, that's interesting. So it's nice to get your feedback on whether this is useful or not, because we are doing a new database, whether we need to link another form like this. Wow, so that's good that you're using it. Thanks for that feedback. That's cool. And the next one is this is just showing you how it works. For those that don't use it, once you put your reaction in, you can go and use the same login to this, and it's all filled out. And once it's all filled out, save and print, and you have it there. So I was worried about the interactive ness in the room, so I just did a little video, and then you can use it. So this is the other tool we have is an app for reporting to who do we report to. In the past with Ontario, I've worked with Health Canada and CBS to and the plasma derivative manufacturers, now called the blood product manufacturer, to work with the National Advisory Committee subgroup for blood products to come up with a guide for Canada and sort of Canadianize it. And this is the group that's worked on it, but it still can get very tricky. This is the summary of summary, and even to look at it can be a bit confusing. And this is in your manual. We break it down more, the two parallel pathways, and we have two sort of algorithms on paper, again in here, and is worked on with input with the National Advisory Committee. That the report will be coming out in January and will be posted on their site. And we'll keep that updated. But even that, when you're doing an investigating a reaction, you really don't want to go and start looking at a paper guide and like, what do I do? And again, we have staff turnover, at least 5 to 6 people reporting new every month. So for instance, using these, not using them, they're in your book. I just wanted to make you aware of them. I wanted a bit of feedback of right off the top, who would you report this taco from a blood component to? It's not atypical. It was a circulatory overload. It's not life-threatening. Who would you report this to? Well, this is good. It knows that what we're putting out, you're reading, and it's working. Oh, that's great. So we can move it now. Okay, so so TTISS, and the reason is because this is something, it's not to do with the quality of the blood. So we're not the blood is not a suspect here. It's something that they've done at the hospital. Now, with Health Canada, they always have a caveat. If you're getting a lot of them for a blood product, or it's unusual, or it's very severe, or it's not due to something that you can pinpoint, it can be reported to Canadian blood. It should be reported to Canadian Blood Services. So, anaphylactic reaction with IVIG. Who would you report that to? No one. No. Okay, so what I have here is that you would report to Canadian Vigilance Program. So as I said, everything, we would like to collect everything at TTISS. And the reason Canadian Vigilance Program is after Vanessa's law, you have to directly report to Health Canada via directly report to Canadian Vigilance Program rather than the blood product manufacturer. But also from practices, you should also report to the blood product manufacturer, but they want you to directly report to them. And a minor allergic reaction from a blood component, last one. Isn't this fun? That's good. So we've got TTISS. Now, there's a bit of caveat in the sense that originally reporting of these reactions, the minor allergic, febrile, non-hemolytic, delayed serological, there's so many of them that we asked specific sites as a subgroup of hospitals called the sentinel sites to report them to TTISS and help to do them along the way to doing that way back in the day. But it's become the gold standard that we do want everything, and Public Health Agency of Canada wants those going forward in the future. So these they used to be called non-reportable, but we do ask for them now. So if you said none, you were still right, because technically you do not have to report them to the Public Health Agency of Canada. But going forward, I can hear them in the back of my head. We want them. There's something on the form, and it's a bit confusing, and we're going to deal with it on our new form. There's always been other results of investigation and unknown. I still have trouble deciding when there's a reaction that doesn't go in the box. Is it another results of investigation? Is it experienced other type? Or is it an unknown of something new and unexpected? To me, it's a bit of a gray area. So we get something like seizures. We also get a lot of reactions as other that can fit in a box. So we will review them and try to categorize them. And with other results, we get pulmonary embolism, hypertension, blurred vision, tachycardia, chest pain, a lot of just what the main symptom was, not necessarily an end diagnosis. And so looking at this and who do you report to, I've taken the guide out of here for some people that are new. They can go and use an app on our website. And I'm not sure if anybody uses that app for guide reporting. I wouldn't say an app, algorithm online. So I just wanted to know, are anybody using that app that I keep putting my time into? Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. It's the 5 easy questions. Yay. That's good. Okay, and we can do that one. So for those that do not know about it, if you go to this, our website, and who do I report to?
To use the reporting algorithm, simply go to our website and go to who do we report to. Once you go to there, it'll say, please answer these easy questions. Click on the easy questions, put the province that you are reporting to,
And I did this so we can
and
recognize it.
start from there. So if I had that taco reaction, I would have said it was a blood component. It was not one of these minor reactions. It wasn't caused by something incompatible or mislabeled sample or transfusion the wrong patient. It wasn't caused at some activity that I did, pooling in the blood bank. And then it was a taco reaction. And once I click the questions that it asks for, it says report to Ontario TTISS, enter the reactions in the database using your password. If this adverse reaction is unexpected and or serious adverse transfusion reaction that could be suspect of being by something in the blood, it must be reported to Canadian Blood Services if there's a concern for the risk of the safety of the blood component itself. And that's it.
So for those of you that might be helpful in the future, and it's always good to get feedback to say, hey, we have this, where does it fit? Or there's something wrong. And I see there we have plasma derivative. Now we should change that to blood product as our new definitions with the NAC. And I did from Health Canada, Maria Ferracci. She's been a great input for all our algorithms. And I just a reminder that although the IVG reactions would go directly to Health Canada Vigilance Program, also you should also report it to the blood product manufacturer. Just making that point. And again, I just wanted to thank again Nancy for being a great leader, and all the team here, Melanie and Bambi and Fahad, for continuing with doing what I think is a great program. Thanks.